Come on, guys. Welcome to another episode of Rivals on the Pitch. Today, we're going to go over match week 23. We're going to go into match week 24. We're going to see how our favorite teams are doing in the league so far, and we'll check the rest of the table. We'll talk about injuries, controversial calls, rumors, and we're going to go over our Rivals on the Pitch mini league, which, don't get too ahead of yourselves. It's not set in stone yet. There's still plenty of games to go. Today, we're also a member down, so you're not going to hear a lot of Arsenal. Maybe we'll just cut that Arsenal out of the episode altogether. So let's get this going. I'm Randy, your fellow Red Liverpool supporter, and I'm here with my mate,
Alan.
No enthusiasm. I get why, though. But no. I guess, it's going to be me and Alan taking over today. So you're in for a treat, guys.
Yeah.
Let's get this going.
The ones with common sense.
Yes.
Hey.
You can already tell I have energy. You can tell that you're not feeling...
I'm ready for next season. We have 1 week left in this transfer window, and I don't think nothing's going to come. I don't think we're making a signing this besides a goalkeeper.
The thing I've heard about it, based on social media and posts like that, I think, since they said that they're going to keep Ange, that they are trying to buy someone this season. This window. But it's a lot of talk. We'll see what happens. Basically, if you're going to buy someone in the last 4 days, it's a panic buy.
It really is.
Just to make something. So it seems like I'm trying to help you guys in a way, but it's last minute. So it's not really that big of a help. If you wanted to help them, you would have done it earlier in the winter window, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And you had since January 1st to make moves. Since then, It's been a packed schedule. We're getting, we're digging ourselves deeper in a hole, and we're becoming a less attractive club for players to kind of decide whether they want to come join us or not. You guys mention all the time, certain players, why would they, leave their team?
William Nico, for example. I
think like Kuna.
Rumored with him as well. Oh, yeah, Kuna, yeah.
No, I'm talking about teams that are, like you had mentioned Solanke, he left Bournemouth to come to us. Now he's in a lower position, and it's stuff like that, with Kuna and all these other players, who are on these lower half of the table, who were expected to be lower half, now are above us. Why would they leave their team and come to I know we're still a bigger club, and I'm not gonna say we belong in the bottom, right? We're just going through something, but it's optics, right? So we're in a bad position, and like I said, it's not an attractive spot. If you would have done it, beginning of January, first week of January, when you brought in the kid, the goalkeeper, kept that going, you had a better shot then. Now, teams know you're desperate. Players don't like what they're seeing. It's just, it's a bad situation we're in to try to make do business in the last week of the transfer window, but. Here we are, 2025. New year, new me.
I can't say much about that. I was going to say there's worse teams out there, but not really. The worst teams are the ones that are supposed to be underneath you. But, there's still plenty of season. We'll still see what happens. Maybe you can leapfrog some of those teams, but for now, I think just take it one day at a time, one game at a time.
It's scary because we are sinking, but I do think we'll turn it around. Not, we'll save the season maybe in mid-table, but it's not a good look. It's not where we want to be. But should we get into these games?
Yeah, let's get into the games. Let's do it.
All right, let's start off with our highlight game that we chose, and what a surprise we got. Bournemouth 5, Nottingham Forest 0. 5-0. Bournemouth was suffering injuries.
I think all three of us predicted that there was going to be at least an even score line, 2-3, but we didn't think it was going to be a shutout, honestly, and not like this.
Yeah, no, we thought that. I predicted Bournemouth to win, but not in this fashion whatsoever. They're on a streak right now, and it's good to see. But hey, man, slow her down. We're trying to keep up. We're not trying to get left behind.
It's good for Liverpool that Forest was able to lose some points, but
it's good for the league.
I didn't expect Forest to be like that. Yeah, but it was a good game. I didn't expect that, especially because Forest they're on a run too, and in the position they're on the table. But hats off to Bournemouth, man. They Kluivert again, consistent every game in and game out, and Quatraro, a hat trick for him. I mean, all these goals that they scored though were nice. I give them that.
I wonder what this team is going to look like in August or September or August when we kick off the next season. They're all returning, or you think some people are going to be sold?
I think most of them are returning. I think you guys sent me that post of Kirkes, who was saying he wasn't leaving to go to Liverpool as he was rumored. It's still a little too early, but the way they're looking, I feel they're going to get Europe next year, and I don't see any reason for them to move, honestly.
I mean, they have some really young talent on that team. What's his name? Dean Hewson? Dean, the center back. I think he's 18, 19. And then they have another young center back who I think is
like 21 or something like that. They're young. And I saw stats that since those two got paired together, they haven't lost the game or something like that.
So there's pretty impressive. Clubs bidding for them, and who knows? I mean, sometimes you need that money, right? Clubs need to bring in that revenue.
And the way Bournemouth has that recruitment, they're with all that money, I bet they can recruit well and keep doing the success that they're having this season and continue it into next season.
Yeah, but we'll see. I think this cast stays together a little bit longer, at least one more season.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, look at what we've done. Maybe let's see what we can do with another year together and bringing in other pieces. Maybe we can do better. But yeah, I agree. I think they stay another year together.
Yeah. But who's to say, when big clubs come knocking, especially La Liga, clubs from La Liga, the Bundesliga, Some people think trophies is everything, so they just go do that, but trophies isn't everything.
It depends who you ask, but...
Don't ask Harry Kane. He still hasn't got his. Fucker.
Oh, yeah. Who's going to get it first, though? Kane or Spurs?
So what do you think this says about Nottingham Forest?
It's away. I don't think they have the best record when they play away. I expected them to have scored a goal at least, but I just think it was just a bad game for them. I think next game they'll bounce back. I don't think they got figured out, but I just think it was a bad game for them on their part. It was two hot teams coming together at the same time. And, one of the hot teams is playing at home, and I just think they took advantage of it and outclassed the
That's
Forest.
Still a 5-0 scoreline, though. That has to be somewhat worrisome, especially when you're in your top three competing. I mean, right? You would say they're kind of competing for the league, or no? Yeah,
but now you see, like, the rest of the teams, Manchester City, Arsenal, and there's Newcastle. Those teams are, I think, this is where one of those top teams start waking up, and they're going to start making that push. I think Nottingham Forest is in a position they're not used to, so maybe they're tired or something. But I think this is where you're probably going to see them maybe fall down the table.
Maybe. I mean, they're not playing European football. They're only playing the league, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is the time where you start seeing kind of fatigue, that natural fatigue kind of start kicking in, and teams kind of losing steam. And then the ones, with the seasoned players and coaches with good player management, those teams start it all starts kind of, what's it called? Coming back together, coming to place,
This is what they say, like, this is where you separate the boys from the men.
No, not yet. Just wait until we get above half the table. And then another surprise victory. Brighton 0, Everton 1. I can't even pronounce his name. Ndaye?
Yeah, something like that.
With his seagull celebration. He got a yellow for that.
Well,
that's wild.
whatever. I was gonna say, like I mentioned, controversial calls. Refs giving cards out like candy, but we'll see. But I think they were trying to be respectful. But I mean, still a penalty, a goal, whatever David Moyes is doing for Everton is working.
Yeah, I mean, Brighton coming off that victory against Manchester United, and then come here to not score. It's he has to be doing something. I do believe he has instilled something in the club. Maybe I don't know what it is.
I mean, he was there before, so I guess he might have, gave him like a history lesson or something like that.
Maybe.
Reinvigorated them because he's been there.
Maybe the players believe in him.
Yeah, exactly. I think I would have picked David Moyes over Sam Dyche any day of the week, but I think maybe it's just showing that he's a higher caliber coach than the ex-coach of Everton was.
Sean. Bald Sean.
We'll see where he ends up now.
Yeah. Everton moving up the table. I think they're starting to kind of clear that bottom three.
Yeah, I think
we're only a point ahead of Everton. That's a disgrace.
Yeah, but they're
no offense to Everton.
Then again, yeah.
I only say that because of the season they were having.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just gonna say stats. Just like Man United is in 12th position. Every other team underneath Man U included, and under all the way down to the 20th position, they're in. They have a negative goal difference, except for Spurs, which has a +9, and that's just it doesn't look right. And it's just the fact that Man United are above you, a team that has +9 goals and goal difference compared to every other team. That's a negative. It's just not a good look. But
West Ham is above us, and they have -16.
Yeah, you see, and then
differential. What is going on?
Yeah, and it's like I said, you see everything red, and then the only green lining is Spurs with +9. You got Leicester -24, Wolves -20, Ipswich, and Southampton. Don't even bother looking at them, but it's just like you stick out, and it's like usually if you're in a plus goal difference, you should be higher up, and you shouldn't be in that position. But I mean, whatever. Everton, just a point away, but still.
But here we are with a James Maddison injury.
However you can. Yeah, we'll get to your Spurs, man.
Liverpool 4, Ipswich 1. How'd you like that performance?
I was happy. I just wish we would have got the clean sheet, but it was an overall. I mean, and not to downplay, we're playing at home, and it's against Ipswich, which is a 19th team in the table. Basically relegated, almost. But I was just happy with the display we played. Dominic Szoboszlai, you saw how he played. I mean, you probably didn't watch or whatever, but I'm just saying he was running. He was being like that enforcer. He had a nice shot from outside the box to get the first goal. Gakpo and Salah scoring. Gakpo with 2 goals, Salah with 1. I just think it was a good team display. You're supposed to get the 3 points at home against a team like Ipswich, and we did. We kept pressure against on Arsenal. We still got a game in hand, but I just think it was a good showing from everyone. Everyone showed up. That last goal was, I give Ipswich credit. It was a nice goal from Green, nice from a corner, nice header. But besides that, we just completely dominated, and it was 3 points well deserved on our end, and let's just keep it going.
Yeah, because you have a little bit of room, with the Nottingham Forest loss, but Arsenal did pick up their 3 points, so we should keep going.
Yeah, but I don't want to compare Arsenal to Liverpool. I mean, you saw them. They scored 1 goal, and we scored.
Pat, what do you say?
4.
What do you say about that, Pat?
Here.
Oh, he's not here.
It's going to be a nice episode. You know what he would have said? Today.
No, that's Arteta.
The refs. We'll get to Arsenal game, or we can just skip it all together. But we'll give him a nice little, 10-second cameo or something.
Oh, we should text him, see what he wants us to say. and then not say it.
Why? So we could not say it at all.
Yeah. We'll pull up the screenshot of what he said. And
With
then
our edits on them.
Yeah. And nobody can see what he said. Yeah, Ipswich. One of those teams I kind of wanted to stay. I mean, they still have a shot. Leicester City, Wolves, and Ipswich are kind of neck to neck. So we'll see what happens.
It's going to be between them 4 teams.
Yeah, there's still a lot of season left. So I think there's going to be a surprise, but hopefully that surprise is not Tottenham. And it's something else we can all talk about.
Hopefully it's not Wolves. But then again, I sort of like Ruud van Nistelrooy, how he's doing with Leicester. So it'd be a shame to see them relegated. But I just think, I mean, there's still plenty of season left, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Moving on. Southampton 1, Newcastle 3. Alexander Isaac.
Yeah. 2 goals. And Tonali.
2 goals and Tonali
with a nice goal as well.
Southampton did lead early on. I thought this was going to be an upset, but no,
I thought so too.
Not.
It sucks because they gave your like team hope, saying that nice cross, that header, and it was just like, oh my, I think it's going to be an upset alert. Like they're going to beat Newcastle. Like who beat them last week? Oh, man, I forgot. I think it was Bournemouth, right?
Newcastle
or
Bournemouth.
I thought it was going to sort of be like that, but nope. It ended up Newcastle woke up and
he thought it was going to be a second defeat in a row, but no, they did their thing. Southampton, 6 points. 6 points.
I think they're going to break the record.
That's a bad record to break,
Yes, it is, and it's sad. Better than some other team.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I haven't kept up with the Championship League or the Championship. I wonder who's looking at getting promoted. And now, moving on to Wolves 0, Arsenal 1, a 10-on-10 match.
Let's give Pat a little credit here. We already know what he's going to say because we heard it in the group chat. Controversial call. But then again.
So, what you've seen it, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
What's your take on it?
Yes, it was a foul. A red card, even though I want to say yes, just to, spite them because I like hearing them complain. It wasn't a red card in my opinion.
Same. I like to feed the fire a little bit and
yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't. I think it's a tactical foul, right? And what you see a yellow coming out of that, trying to slow the game down. You can argue that it went. Yeah. He went in studs up, kinda.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
But then again, the fact that the ref called it a red, VAR called it a red. Even what was it called? Like the organization I think for refs agreed with it. All 3 agreed with it, and then he gets sent off. And then later today, they appeal it and overturned it. But how does that work? It should have been like an in-game decision because now you're playing a man down. What happens if they would have lost? And then you get reinstated, we appealed, you won, that affects the game because then you would have been 11-on-11. But I think you can't change the fact. All right, yeah, but you can't go back in time and put him back in. The damage is done. You can't have a replay or anything like that. It is what it is. But luckily for them, Arsenal got a goal. They won. I don't want to feed the fire and say that, the refs, in Arsenal, but yeah, it wasn't a red card in my opinion.
I don't want to say it's unfortunate that they won, but if they would have lost, this would have gained a lot more attention, right? It would have been an uproar, which rightfully so, right? Because the call was called on the field, the ref called it, VAR looked at it, like you said, and then they still agreed. At that point, who is it that's overturning it now? What's the government body that decides, hey, no, this is not a foul, actually. Why aren't they the ones then, making these decisions during the VAR screenings or whatever? It's why does it take a few days later, post match to make these decisions?
For me, it sort of reminds me of like the NFL where, the coach can challenge the play and then, you get more in depth into it because a play like that can affect the whole game.
Right. But the fact that Arsenal won, they can just come out and be like, oh yeah, you know what? It wasn't a foul. And we're going to overturn it. Everything's peachy. It's like, no, like that's not how you do it. And it's not just, it's been multiple cases, right, where this has happened. But because, Arsenal's the winning side and their red card got overturned, but they still won. It's, no one's really going to worry too much about it, right? But if they would have lost, then it would have been, it wouldn't have just been like, oh, let's just overturn a penalty. I'm sure if Arsenal would have lost, I bet you they come out defending this decision, right? The whole explanation about why it was what it was, just so that they're not getting this negative publicity.
Yeah, and like you said, and if they would have lost, that's they're in a position where they can still somewhat they challenge for the title. That would have been 3 crucial points, or I mean 2. They would have got 1 point if they would have drawn, but these points at this stage matter, and it's just unfortunate. Sometimes calls go your way, and sometimes they don't. But luckily for them, they were able to make a good situation out of this bad situation. They get them back, which is good, but it could have been worse for Arsenal. And I think that's enough for Arsenal talk, right?
Yeah, they can lose. Go cry somewhere else. You got your little spotlight. That's enough. Go home. If you're an Arsenal fan, you can stop listening. No, just kidding.
Yeah, because we're not talking anymore.
Right. I did kind of want to touch a little bit on Wolves and what's going on with them. And I mean, I guess we get into it. It's mostly where their players are, especially Cunha, what's going on with him. But maybe we'll get into that later.
You brought it up. I say let's start ahead and let's just go with it.
Yeah. So I'm surprised. It almost seems like the team's a little bit of internal issues going on, and I know losing doesn't help. Losing just makes things even worse. So I wonder if what's going on with him and Cunha's position and why he hasn't signed with Wolves that extension. Do you think he's going anywhere?
It's hard to say because you see like social media and everything. Some say that he's content there, and then others say he's trying to force a move. But it's hard to say. I mean, I wouldn't be content where the position I'm at if I was a Wolves player in the relegation in the bottom 3. I wouldn't be content. They had
Tottenham have a chance.
One player up. They should have took advantage of it. But they shot themselves in the foot and got a red card and then got into playing even field. And, I feel most of this is their mistake, their own doing. Cunha is just trying to get out of a situation. I think he's like, if we get relegated, I'm way too good to be in the championship. Try to make something out of it. And, I don't blame him for it. But
it's almost like he had second thoughts and he was like, you know what? Maybe we're not as safe as I thought. Maybe I should start looking at
when they offered him the contract extension, they were actually doing pretty well. I think like they won 2 games back to back. They were on a roll in a way. And then I think, they started having this bad form. And then after that, he's just like, it was good, but then it just turned south real quick. And then I think that might have got him hesitant to sign. And then, of course, you hear all these rumors, Arsenal going for him and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, look at where Arsenal's at and look at where I'm at with Wolves. Of course, Arsenal's probably going to be able to offer him more money. I don't know. I don't know if he will actually be playing in Arsenal as many games as he is at Wolves, but to each reach their own. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we still got like 4 days left.
We'll take him. Don't worry. He'll start.
He has no choice to start. You got no one to play.
Right. Hey, all he has to do is beat out an 18-year-old and you got the spot.
All you got to do is make sure he stretches so he doesn't get injured.
And then another exciting game, Man City 3, Chelsea 1. It's a game that kind of surprised me at least. I thought this was going to be a lot closer than what it was.
Exactly.
With Man City kind of having their little resurgence now late in the season.
Where are they? Yeah, I mean, you got their two signings showed up today. I mean, showed up that day.
Yeah. Well, I can't. There's no way I'm pronouncing this guy's name.
Give it a try. Give the fans something to listen to, laugh to. I understand too.
Kuzgan. My mouth can't even make these. I can't even go from these letters. Like they're not supposed to go next to each other. But he had a rough start. But I'm sure. I mean, come on. What league was he playing in? French league?
That's a good question. Honestly, I honestly don't know much. I forgot. But I mean, he's a young kid. You know, it was a mistake. You learn. At least they didn't lose from it. But I think Marmouche did a good showing as well. He showed a little bit of his what he can offer. But for me, I just think it was stupid. They sold Alvarez for the same amount that they spent to buy Marmouche, and I'm just like thinking, I think that was just a stupid idea to sell.
Yeah, but was it Julian Alvarez? I don't think he wanted to be in. I thought he wanted to change the scenery. No,
I think so. He wanted to play more, but now what do you think they're going to do? They're going to they're going to do like a 4-4-2, have Haaland and Marmouche playing together, or they're going to stick with the same formation and have one center forward. Haaland has that 8-year contract extension, so he's not gonna be bench player. He's going to be the one starting. So for me, that signing didn't make sense in a way, unless you're going to play like a 4-4-2 and have two strikers, or is he going to play a different position or something like that, or come off the bench? We'll see.
Who knows? I mean, how does it feel knowing there's a new Egyptian king?
If you read what their Man City posted, the Egyptian prince, they respect that they know that there is already a king. He's still there. I can get into his stats already, but the fact that he already got his tally from last year at this point, and there's still 16 games left to play.
Right, so enough. We get it. He takes off his shirt and he's ripped. We get it.
Yes, he is, and he scores goals.
Ooh, you said that little zesty.
Yes, but whatever. I think it was a good showing. A nice little preview of him, of Marmouche. We'll see what happens later on in the season.
I think he was a good pickup. Honestly, I think he was. I mean, he was being looked at other several teams. I feel like they made that move, kind of bring a little bit of light into this team. They had an aging squad, and if you look at all the transfers that they made this season or in this window, they've been on the younger side, right? So I feel like they're trying to start moving forward. Maybe this was talent that they wanted to get in the summer, but maybe they saw that there was a lot of interest around the players that they wanted, so they probably took it upon themselves.
Yeah, and they got the money, right?
Right.
Like you said last week, we don't know about their financial fair play, so they're spending money. They, like you said, they probably seem like all they're getting is a fine, so they're spending because they know there's going to be a punishment.
Exactly. So money? That's no problem. You're gonna fine us? Cool, we got the money. Now we got money to spend on players, and it just the timeline of it all just seems funky, and they started spending as soon as rumors started coming out that they're not getting fined, and so I think they took that opportunity and signed the players that they were looking at versus waiting in the summer. They probably said, you know what, let's pay a little bit extra, get them now before our rivals
try to salvage their season somehow.
Right, the twofer, get the players in now so that nobody else gets their hands on them, and get that new energy in, salvage some of their season. Some, even their hopes for. Well, I guess they won't be able to play in the Champions League, right? Because you got to be registered.
I think,
or is there?
I don't think I think there may be exception because he plays for Frankfurt, and I think they're playing in the Europa League. So I think they might have an exception. I'm not really familiar with the rules, but I think he might be able to play if they reach the knockout stages, which they're like I think one position out of the playoffs. So we'll see what happens.
That's not fair because we need some
I know,
help,
but
we can't get
fucking what is fair, especially when it comes to Manchester City, and I mean they get good buys, but I just think they should have gone for a midfielder instead. They have their midfield is aging, and Kevin De Bruyne is not the same as he used to be.
No.
Kovacic, he was good in the beginning. Now I don't even see him as much. Rodri just came back. Is he back? No, I don't think he's back. I think that was someone else. But I don't think they need to refresh the midfield. Oh, he is back?
Diaz or
Diaz is back. He's a defender though.
Nunez.
Yeah, but still, I just think they should have probably bought the. But the good thing is they don't listen to the podcast, so they'll just keep buying other stuff.
Losers. All right, moving on to Sunday, January 26th. Sunday, not a fun day. Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 2. Mbeumo again on the scoreboard. You think Thomas Frank can keep him?
I think he's going to keep him. They're playing well. I just think they got a good rhythm, him and Wisa. I just think why break that up? Maybe offer him a contract extension, get up the wages a little bit. He's playing his best football right now. But I know, like I said, if a big team is calling.
If you're Brentford, you say, okay, well, I have Mbeumo and Wisa. Maybe I could sell one of them and fortify another position in the field,
Yeah, but I mean, what position would you fortify it on the field? I mean, it depends what position they get in the Premier League. If they reach Europe or whatever, that's money coming in. Then that's something else they could use. But I understand that too. You got two good strikers; they're both in double digits.
And Mbeumo's sitting at 14. Wisa is 11.
I think it's preference, honestly.
There's
more what's it called, rumors about Mbeumo. So I guess you'll get your more bang for your buck for him. He only has 3 goals more than Wisa. You're still going to get some of the same output. I just think that dynamic between them two is what allows them to score those goals. So maybe if you take one of them out, it might change it a bit. So I mean, but that's up to Thomas Frank to see, and we'll see what happens if they stay, how the season ends. Maybe if they do some good business in the transfer in the summer window, I would try to keep the squad together if possible.
Yeah, they probably do feed off each other, and who knows what the chemistry would be without one or the other. But
yeah,
I think
a defender, you would be worried about one, but if you have two good strikers, then you focus on one, you leave the other one open, and
kind
of
spreads your defense.
Yeah. So I just think they have a good system going. I would, if I was a fan of them, I would try to keep them, together as long as possible.
Who would have thought that Ivan Toney would be a forgotten name?
Forgot about him.
Yeah, honestly. Right? Because I was like, man, Brentford, what's the last big name they kept? And I was like, oh yeah, Ivan. And then, dude, didn't even go anywhere. He ended up in Saudi?
Yeah, he went to Saudi. But I don't even know, then again, once you go to Saudi, I'm not looking at your stats or anything like that. No. Maybe he's doing well or not, but whatever. I mean, I think Brentford got the best deal out of that. They're playing well. They don't have that negative energy with Ivan Toney anymore. They're playing beautiful soccer, and it's going well for them.
And it's funny how he was going for like 80, and then it was like 70, and then it was 60, and then it started coming out that he was only like 40 mil.
I mean, I guess that's what happens when you try to bet on yourself,
Yeah, he lost that bet.
Yeah.
He's not a gambling man, apparently. Moving along, the Sunday not fun day.
Can you say it, or do you want me to take over?
I got it. It's it's a hard truth that we gotta look. It's we gotta look ourselves in the mirror. Spurs 1, Leicester City 2. Leicester City beating us at home. Drawing first game of the season. This loss was written in the stars. We came off a win in the Europa League. We beat Hoffenheim, who isn't the strongest of the team right now. They're pretty low in the Europa League, and I think in the Bundesliga. Seeing that game, it made me confident that we can come out and play a little bit better. Richarlison's getting her, scoring first. He came out with the post. Someone was like, "Hey," he's like, "Don't worry, I'm playing now. Like we'll win."
Yeah, I saw that post,
and I was like, "Oh, there you go." Like I like that cockiness. I always admire Richarlison. Especially when he was with Everton. As soon as that Jamie Vardy goal went in, it just my head just started spinning. I knew what was coming. We look tired. We look very tired. We look exhausted. I feel like our starting 11 has not changed in these last few weeks, and we've had a packed schedule, and I feel like our players are not getting any rest. We're seeing the shortcomings of our transfer windows. We're feeling those effects now. Where we have these players that we signed that aren't seeing any playtime. The South Korean.
Yeah, why bring them in for this window if you're not going to use them?
And he was. It's not like he was super expensive to the point where it's stopping us from doing more business. You're bringing all these kids and these talent that's going to be used later. That this talent that's going to make an impact in 2 years, 3 years, or maybe next year. But it's not now. It's not this season.
But then again, that's in the future of Ange. If he stays, if you get a new coach, is he going to use those players? Because he didn't buy them.
Exactly. Right.
So it's a little risky in that sense. I understand he might feel cocky. He's thinking about the future that he's going to be here in the long run. But like you said, you wouldn't be surprised if he gets canned or not. But I
think when it comes to Bergvall and Gray, I'm not too concerned about them getting playtime. I think they've proven themselves to a point where I think I'm confident they'll, if a new coach does come in, a new manager does come in, I think they'll be incorporated into their game plan. And I think the organization would bring a coach in or manager in that would include them. I'm sure it's like with Ange. I'm pretty sure they asked him like, "Hey, just to let you know, Harry Kane is probably gonna be out the door," and he was probably one of the few that was like, "All right, I could do it without him." So I'm sure that's some questions for our new manager if that's the case, right? But this Levy, this whole last few matches it has brought a lot of attention to Levy, and I know Pat had mentioned in the group chat like he had sent that video saying that Spurs fans can be a little entitled. Like, why are we asking for Levy, to leave when he got us to where we are? Which is true, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fans who do respect that and admire what he has done for the club, what he has pushed, and his agenda has brought us to be a more well-known club, a bigger club with one of the best stadiums in the world. But
yeah, you have more recognition,
right? And it only gets you so far, right? And it's gotten to the point where we're not seeing any more progress. It's been 20-something years. I can't say I've been a fan for that long, right? But
yeah,
the time I have, you saw the opportunities to take the step forward, and that never happened. 2019, okay, granted, I guess Pochettino knew that we're not going to buy any players because we're building the stadium, we're in debt, blah 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 blah. But it almost seemed like there was no plan for moving forward. It was just like do the best you can, and we'll figure it out later. And it just started to crumble since then. And now these numbers come out. the wages that we have one of the lowest wages. He's one of the highest paid football owners.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, exactly.
And so now you start seeing like, okay, this is just a business for you. If you want to do business, fine. Go do business, but step aside, let someone else stand in and manage the football team, because this is a football club is what's bringing you this money. The brand, the football team is what makes this brand the brand,
And if they win, that, guess what? That's going to draw more attention to Spurs. That's going to make him more money. I think that'd be the right way of going. Is just invest in your football club.
It's like you're content where you're at. It's like, okay, we don't win, as long as we don't lose too much, that's fine. We're still relevant.
As long as you stay in the Premier League.
Yeah. And it's starting to show, and it seems like there's no more ambition. Like I said, thank you for taking us to where we are, but I think it's time to move along and let someone else take over and run this club, and someone who actually believes in the club and wants the club to succeed, not just the brand name. We'll see. There's still a week left. I don't think whoever we sign, I don't think it's going to be such a difference maker anyways. I think it's just going to be a gap filler to help some of these players rest, and once we start getting our team back together, we'll see.
Do you expect one signing or like maybe two or something like that?
Right now, my expectation, is none. What I'm hoping for is at least one.
But what position would you think?
Right now, I think, I don't want to say, Richarlison might be out, so who knows, maybe forward, but...
Oh, yeah, he got injured on that goal, right?
Yeah, I think he got a groin. He picked up a groin injury. I feel like the midfield, it's between the midfield or a forward. I think defense-wise, I think we've been holding up pretty well, and I think we have some players due back. We just got Ben Davis back. Archie Gray, man, he's... As much crap as I talk about, we're not ambitious. Signing him was a good deal. That kid can play. He's gonna be a future star.
I mean, you got to give him credit. I mean, he's trying, know, and he, like I said, some days he's, it's a tough love. It's a tough learning experience for him. But guess what? Hopefully depends. Some people grow from it, learn from it, and I think like he's the type of person that was going to grow from it, gain experience, and he's going to come better next year. And then he's like going to be, just in case, I'm not saying, if you get another injury crisis like this, but he's someone that's reliable that you can.
Yeah, he's dependable.
Yeah. I need you to play defense this game.
Exactly.
We got and you know what? He's going to be like, yes, boss, and do what needs to be done for the team. But but I mean, hats off to him, man. I think that was a good buy. Young kid doing that, trying his best, and I think people are gonna just always see the negative, but I mean, it could be worse.
He's got some real nice passes too. I think he's a star in the making. But I think we need a midfielder or a forward. Like I said, our defense have been holding up, not the best, but we've got players that are going to start coming in. It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, and hopefully you can make a push.
Yeah. I think we'll start seeing some victories here. I'm just upset that the Europa. I mean, we play Europa on Thursday. If we win, we miss out on the playoffs, which will be great because we don't need those extra games, right? So we'll be a shoe in for that. And then we have you guys shortly after. So it sucks that we don't have everybody already, practicing together, playing together, because you get players back and they'll have limited time. They'll be playing for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then they haven't played with each other. So they're kind of out of the loop. Let's just hope it's not too late. And then we can make some pushes in either the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup and the Europa. Save the season.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's funny for me, but eventually, I hope I don't go there in that position.
It's not funny.
I mean, but it's like, it's because we're rivals and we're friends and stuff like that.
No.
It sucked. Liverpool were at that point. We were, not in the top, but
15th?
if it would happen to us, we would be like. But then again, I think Liverpool has never been in that position where we've been, like you said, like 15th. I think the lowest we ever been was like maybe 8 or something. But it sucks. It probably, to their fans and everything like that, to see your team in a position like that where you can do so much better. It's based on the past years, like you said. When what was it, 2019, where you guys went to the Champions League finals, and you guys were like what, second or third for the Premier League, and then to see that fall from grace.
Yeah, we were like second or third a few years before that. But yeah.
And you're thinking, this is
we're
us
on the
now.
right path.
We're gonna be in this.
Here we go.
Yeah, and then to end up this way,
Well, at least
the fans have every right to say,
oh yeah,
freedom of speech and say what's on their mind.
They have the right to criticize.
Manchester United said it with the Glazers. Even with Newcastle, and and they got it there, and they got it to happen. They sold, but we'll see with Levy if he's gonna budge or not. But I think there is potential for Spurs, honestly. But I think they've reached that ceiling with Levy. They need a new start.
Yeah, well, let's get out of this depressing mood here because it's Spurs. Don't worry. We're gonna come back. This is just a perfect setup. We're setting ourselves up for this storyline where we beat Liverpool and then we go on to beat Newcastle or Arsenal, and we take a trophy home. And who would have thought? Out of the ashes comes this phoenix.
Would you be content like that?
No,
honestly,
it's what it reminds me of. The Man United with Eric Ten Hag, and he won trophies, but the state of the club, you looked at it and you're like, well, at what cost? It would just be it would be a little Band-Aid. It will be something that you can, like a shot that lets you get through the rest of the season, right? But it'll be far from contention. I wouldn't say here like, oh, it doesn't matter what position we are in. We won a trophy. It would be excitement and celebration, but it wouldn't be something where we're like, oh yeah, every year type of thing. No, we would have to perform in. I always want us to perform. It sort of
reminds me of Wigan Athletic when they beat Manchester City. I think it was like in the FA Cup, but then that's the exact same season they got relegated. It's like,
didn't it happen recently too? No.
Maybe. I honestly don't know. But that was the one that sticks out with Wigan Athletic with Roberto Martinez. Mm-hmm. And, he had a good cup run, but at the end of the season, they got relegated. And it was like, great, you got a trophy, but guess what? And now where are they now? They're not in the Premier League. They're still trying to get up. And it's hard to get back to the Premier League. But
to get up and stay in.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be content. It would be one of those where, like I said, it'll be a little bit of it'll make the season bearable, but it wouldn't be something to be satisfied over. All right, moving on. Aston Villa won. West Ham won. Graham Potter. Is he turning around things? Is he having the same effect as David Moyes with his team?
Or is it just like a bad showing from Villa?
It was hard to gauge this year. They've drawn 3 out of their last 5 against Brighton, Arsenal, and now West Ham.
I think that's more credit to West Ham. To get a point away.
Well, okay, never mind. West Ham lost against Crystal last week. I don't know why I thought they drew last week.
West Ham's goal, Emerson, was a lovely header, though.
Yeah.
I give them that. At least, I don't know. Like, I think, like we spoke about it before, like getting a new coach sort of reinvigorates you a bit. And I think, Graham Potter, he did have success with Brighton. He didn't have as much time with Chelsea, but he knows his football, and you can see that West Ham are enjoying playing. They got another pep in their step, and they're playing well against a tough Aston Villa at home. And to get a point at Villa Park, it's good for them.
To score on the world's greatest goalkeeper.
Oh yeah, we're still with that shit. I think Pickford is probably the world's best goalkeeper.
He can be, when he wants to be.
Yeah, but kudos to West Ham. You can see that the coach change helped, and it reinvigorated the club. And we'll see what happens. There's still plenty of season left to go, and we'll see what happens with Villa. I think they were trying to buy. I forgot who they were
Duran?
Rumored with. With what?
Wait, Villa or West Ham?
Villa, I believe, was rumored for. I forgot the guy's name.
Me?
Damn it. Because I know Arsenal was rumored looking at Duran to buy. I think even West Ham was looking at Duran as well.
Come on, he's 22 or 20. He's not going for cheap. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think they wanted 80 for him, but I think this is only still his first season with Aston Villa. So I guess you're not going to sell him in the first season there.
It's his second.
A second? Oh,
I think
maybe it is, but still, it's too early to sell.
Yeah, not his. And if they do sell, they're not going to sell in January, and he's going to be pricey. He's going to have a good price tag on them come the summer. But I mean, if you have Ollie Watkins and you have John Duran, like, who do you let go? One of them is a little bit older, and I don't want to be ageist.
Now I remember. João Felix from Chelsea.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that would make sense. If they do, sell Duran, they'll get João Felix, because there would be no point in getting like 3 strikers. But I don't know. João Felix, I think he had a lot of potential.
If you were Villa, would you do that?
No.
Who would you give up first, Ollie Watkins or John Duran?
I'd probably give Watkins because he's, I think, 29.
Yeah.
And I'll stay with Duran, who's younger, and work around him. But I mean, I understand Duran will probably get a higher price because he's younger and potential. But I would rather stay with the younger option.
Yeah, I mean, Ollie's not super old either. I mean, he's 29.
Yeah.
Kind of that prime.
Yeah, but Duran, you would have more years out of him than Watkins. But but I think it's preference. But right now they got like one of the best two-hit punch combo, and with Watkins and Duran, I wouldn't risk that for João Felix.
All right, last game of Sunday, finishing off match week 23. Fulham 0, Man United 1. Man United getting their victory. Goal coming from Martinez, their defender.
With a nice deflection, though. But still, it was a nice shot. Like rainbowed over the goalkeeper. You get what you can get, especially if you're Manchester United.
Yeah, right, at this point.
Yeah.
Fulham kind of, I don't want to say they're on a decline, but they've gotten only 1 win out of the last 5. That was against Leicester City. I hope they can. What do you think? You think they're going to keep their form, or this is kind of that what we were talking about earlier, where these teams start to like lose that steam?
I think now we're going to see like the Fulham of old in a way. They're just going to be, I think wherever they're at in the table, that is what they're going to stay. They're going to be a mid-table team. I think their run has, there's no more water in the well. I think that's where they're going to stay for a bit. But then again, I think Man United is going to stay where they're at as well. I just think where the teams are at is they're not going to be that much movement for them. But I
don't say that.
Why? That's for them. Talking about Man United and Fulham. I didn't say anything about Spurs yet.
Okay,
all right,
good.
I'm just.
We got water.
Still leave
we got water in our well. It's just sitting on the bench hurt. That water is going to go back in the well too. The wheels will start turning.
The water boy needs help, but
turning. All right.
Yeah, but I mean, I think even what's it called, Ruben? He was like, I think he just turned 40, but he was like, at Manchester United, it feels like I'm fucking 50.
He's
gonna get gray hairs,
I remember when he was rumored or when they first announced him, you see all the images they have of him were from Sporting and winning and cheering and on the sidelines, fist pumping and whatnot, happy. And now every time I see him on social media, he's just depressed, crying, rubbing his face, losing his hair.
Yeah.
It's how I feel, this is what the Premier League feels like, right? And it's just rough. This is what this season has felt like for many fans, for many players.
But to be honest, I don't know what Man United fans were expecting. They thought, what, he's gonna put the snap of his finger, they're gonna be title contenders that quick? No,
but not I think this it's gonna take either.
Time.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't think they expected this, and I think the coach is like, "What the fuck did I get myself into?" Because you also see that. I don't want to get too much into the Portuguese league, but Sporting, they also are in a decline once he left.
Right. So he did something good, right? Yeah. But so when he came over,
you gave Eric Ten Hag time, so you got to give him time.
Oh yeah. I don't think nobody's calling for his head. But you thought that, United was going to eventually, maybe it's coming, but you thought that we're going to start,
He thought he might have done it with the players he has, like with the Marcus Rashford, which is now he's like his, he's exiled. I think the only thing he said was, I am happy that I have Bruno Fernandes with me, because he's like my rock, my pillar. He helps, but that's just one person out of everyone you have. You have Casemiro, who is experienced, and then you have all these players that they wanted. I think Højlund now I heard is going to be rumored to be trying to be sold. Onana, they're not happy with him. I think they're looking for another goalkeeping option.
Anthony left.
They just signed a left back, I believe. But it's just, we'll see what happens when he actually has time to buy and sell and make the team he wants. But then again, I'm not saying he's like Ange. He wants the players to fit in his system. He has a system that he wants to play with, and I think he realized that he can't do it with these players.
I'm just surprised with the Rashford, with the Marcus Rashford stuff. Like, I feel like he was such a key player for them, and just to be completely with no explanation, kind of. Well, I guess most people don't explain, but just kind of like you said, exiled and left out.
It's like Ten Hag with the Jadon Sancho situation all over again.
Yeah, it's true. I hope he finds a good spot, a good team to go to, because I like him. I like what he does off the field and stuff, and I think he's a good kid. Yeah,
he's so young, but I think he was rumored to go to Arsenal. I think even Spurs a bit, but then talk about Barcelona and stuff like that. But we'll see what happens. There's 4 days left. We'll see what happens.
Do you foresee any other managers getting sacked this season?
Honestly, I think whoever is in charge is going to stay in charge.
Yeah.
I think at this point, trying to get a coaching change is not going to benefit the team at all. I think that time has passed. And who are you going to get at this late in the stage? I don't think anyone. I think these coaches are safer now.
Yeah.
Then to the end of the season, then you can can them. But right now, it is what it is.
All right, let's move into match week 24. Starting off Saturday, February 1st of February. Happy Valentine's. Make sure you guys buy your Valentine's or ask your Valentine's.
What her favorite team is, so you can get her a jersey.
Him or her, yep. Get her a Rivals on the Pitch Spotify account. So kicking off Saturday, February 1st, Nottingham Forest, Brighton. It's going to be a good one. What do you think on that one?
I think
who comes
Forest.
back? Yeah.
They're at home.
Both coming
one of
off
the best home records. Forest.
Yeah, shoot, both coming off of what's it called?
Losses.
Yeah, losses. Moving on, Bournemouth. Ooh, Bournemouth. Liverpool playing away at Bournemouth. You scared?
I'm not scared. Even though Bournemouth has beaten the likes of, I believe, Arsenal, Spurs, Manchester City.
Nottingham Forest. 5-0.
Yeah. They've beaten everyone in the top 6. But I think it will end with Liverpool. I think we're on a high. I just think we're gonna be in a better position because also we play Champions League tomorrow, Wednesday, and we're resting most of our starters. We already basically qualified for Champions League, so we're basically get the bye. So we're gonna rest them, and we're gonna have our the A team ready for February 1st. So I think it should be a win for us. I mean, I'll hold my prediction to the end, but
we'll see about
Liverpool
that.
with the win.
See. All right, moving on. Everton at home hosting Leicester City. I think Everton's going to get this one. Leicester City, I hate you.
I agree. Everton.
Ipswich hosting Southampton, a crippling
battle
Southampton.
Of the bottom twos.
I don't even know. Southampton is at a different bottom. This team only has 6 points so far. Ipswich still has a chance to get out of the bottom 3. So all they got to do is just beat Southampton, and they make themselves a little bit.
And so if Ipswich play well at home, it's a hard place to win over there. Especially if you're Southampton, I just think Ipswich is going to find a way and get the 3 points needed to help them battle out of relegation.
And it's just be a week to do it. I'm gonna skip over, but Wolves facing Aston Villa. Wolves at home hosting Aston Villa. This Villa could come out with the victory with those 3 points, and if Ipswich win, I believe. Either that puts them very close or they leap.
I think they only have 1 point separating. Wolves and Ipswich are both at 16.
So, if Everton beat Leicester, Ipswich win, and Wolves lose to Villa, Ipswich will see themselves outside of that bottom 3. So, and then we have. Finishing off the Saturday, we have Newcastle hosting Fulham at St. James Park. Isaac?
Yeah, he's on fire.
Hat trick?
No, that's too much.
No?
But they will get the win.
Hopefully the Fulham isn't, they still got some fight in them and they take it to Newcastle.
I mean, they can play the spoiler, but we'll see.
They can.
Speaking of spoiler, what do you think about
Sunday?
Brentford and Spurs. Brentford
Sunday,
at home.
February 2nd, Brentford hosting the almighty Tottenham Hotspur. It's funny because, usually you feel confident playing Brentford. But after
not this Brentford, though.
No. Especially not
at home.
Especially not after losing to Leicester City, especially not after losing to Everton. But you know what? I think.
Come on, be the first. Be the first one.
I can't.
Yes, you can. You get points.
I gotta back the boys. I gotta.
You mean back the kids?
I gotta believe. Yeah, right. I gotta believe, and I think I still do, and I still think we can beat any team. Sometimes, maybe. We'll see. But I'll leave my predictions for the end. Like I said, not entirely convinced that we'll win, but I have faith. Moving on, Man United hosting Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace coming off a loss to Brentford, but they have won they have won 3 out of the last 5. Yeah. So who knows? I think United barely beat Fulham. I think Crystal can do some damage here.
I think I'm leaning towards Crystal Palace, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Old Trafford isn't the same anymore.
It's cracking. And then the last game of Sunday, Arsenal hosting Man City. It's going to be a good one.
Well, we would ask Pat what his prediction is, but we already know what it is going to be. He's going to vote for them to lose. But which one do you think should be the highlight game of the week?
I want to say this game.
Discussion was either between Bournemouth and Liverpool based on their form of run. They're both coming off 4 wins and a draw out of the last 5 games. Or, Arsenal and City, which Arsenal is in second place with 47 points, and City is in 4th with 41. I think it can go either way, but what do you
I want to say Bournemouth, Liverpool. What do you say?
I was sort of saying Arsenal and City just because based on the position of the table, like if City were to win, that would deteriorate Arsenal's chance of getting that first place, and that'll help City get closer to second place.
You just want to see.
It could go either way, honestly.
What did Pat say?
Pat, what did he say? I think he said Liverpool and Bournemouth. Go to the VAR and make sure it is correct.
Yeah, let's go. We're going Bournemouth, Liverpool.
Yeah, he picked Bournemouth, Liverpool. All right, Bournemouth, Liverpool it is then. So we can give our prediction for City and Arsenal. And I have all of Pat's information. Don't worry, Pat. I'll make sure all your teams lose.
Who do you think is going to take this one?
Arsenal at home against City. Arsenal still hasn't beaten City in the Premier League. I believe City has rejuvenated themselves. I think City is going to get the win.
Yeah, I think after that Chelsea victory, I think they got a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
Speaking of Chelsea, Monday, February 3rd, they are playing. Chelsea host West Ham. I think Chelsea gets this one. If maybe West Ham could come out with the,
but I doubt it. Chelsea.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Hey, Graham Potter, homecoming, revenge game. Maybe he comes in there.
That is true.
Little Leviosa.
I thought about that.
Yeah,
we'll see. Maybe it can end up being a draw or a shocking upset.
Yeah,
you never know with Porta. All right, then I say we should get into our predictions.
Yeah, let's do it. Wait, you guys play Everton on the 12th? That's next match week.
Yeah.
All right. Too easy.
It's next month.
All right, let's get into predictions. So, after the last few weeks, the table stands at Pat getting 1 point from last week, bringing his total to 34. Randy, you got 2 points, bringing your total to 27. And I got 1 point, bringing my total to a grand total of 16. Unfortunately,
Sweet
11
16.
behind, but plenty of season left. So, not to worry. I'm not worried. You shouldn't be worried. Let's not be worried. Let's get into predictions. Randy, your prediction for the Bournemouth-Liverpool game is?
Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 2. There you go. Liverpool winning away.
It doesn't seem like a confident scoreline. What's going on?
Because I was going to go with 3, but I was like, every time I go 3, they never make it. So I'll switch it up a bit.
Okay. And that is the highlight game. Points. So that will be your predictions for the week. And let's move on to Pat's predictions.
Pat, because he doesn't like Liverpool, he wants to catch up to them. He has put Bournemouth 2, Liverpool 2. He's going for a draw.
All right. And then for Arsenal City?
Arsenal City, well, Pat's still living in fantasy world. He has Arsenal 2, City 1.
Oh, again, doesn't seem too confident. I think he should have switched those score lines around. I think Arsenal City might end up 2-2.
I should do him a favor, right? And let him be the first one to vote against his own team. Yeah, all right.
Oopsies, we misread it.
Don't clip it. Clip it. Pat has.
According to the text that you can't see.
Yes.
All
There's a disappearing message, so there's no proof anymore.
For my prediction for the highlight game. Sorry, Randy, but I think Ariola's Bournemouth is coming home. No questions asked. They're going to do their thing. Players injured. It doesn't matter. Their team is on a hot streak. Bournemouth 3, Liverpool 2. I think they're in a position where they can beat any team right now. And they don't have football to play midweek, so fresh legs. And then
3-2.
Brentford, Tottenham.
Come on, Alan. Come on. What do you say?
I want to say a 2-2. Brentford's current form.
Brentford won last week.
2-1. You know what? Yeah, Brentford 1, Tottenham 2. Taking that victory, taking those 3 points, changing the season around. We can do it. Midweek victory followed by a Sunday victory. We're keeping it going. I think we're going to see some young faces out. I think we're going to see young kids playing midweek, and that they're going to play so well that they're going to show up Sunday, either on the off the bench or in the starting 11, and that's going to be our key to victory. Fresh legs, baby.
You don't even know what fresh legs are anymore.
No.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap, honestly.
All right, and that is it. Episode 28. Thank you for joining us and tuning in. Make sure you check out our Instagrams, Rivals on the Pitch. Check out our content, like our content, engage with us, ask us any questions. You know, we'd like to spark up some conversation. Last week of the transfer window, let us know who you want to see join your team. Let's looking forward to match week 24. Hopefully, turning things around for certain teams. Yeah, like our content, share us. Spotify. I'm Alan,
and I'm Randy.
Bye.
See ya.